Madrid has a hotel that has been standing since 1853. It has hosted kings, Nobel Prize winners, and some of the most famous writers in Spanish history. It went through a full restoration that took years and cost a fortune. And somehow, right now, today, most travelers visiting Madrid have absolutely no idea it exists. That ends today. Here's what most people get wrong about Madrid. They treat it as the third city, the one you visit after Barcelona and Seville, the capital you spend 2 days in before moving on. And in doing that, in rushing through it, they completely miss what Madrid actually is. Madrid is not a city that gives itself up easily. It is not immediately photogenic in the way that Barcelona is. It does not have one overwhelming landmark that organizes your entire visit. What it has instead is depth, history layered on top of history, a cultural life that runs later, louder, and with more genuine passion than almost anywhere else in Europe. Food that has quietly become some of the best on the continent, and an attitude, a Madrileño attitude, that combines enormous pride with complete indifference to what the rest of the world thinks about it. To understand Madrid properly, you need time, and you need the right base. Gran Hotel Inglés is that base. It sits on Calle Echegaray in the Barrio de las Letras, the literary quarter, one of the oldest and most atmospheric neighborhoods in the city. It is the oldest hotel in Madrid, and after a meticulous restoration that brought it back to a standard that exceeds anything it achieved in its original form, it stands today as one of the most extraordinary luxury hotels in Spain. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what makes it special, what staying there actually feels like, and why, once you understand its history, Madrid as a city starts to make a different kind of sense entirely. We focus specifically on hotels that carry genuine historical and cultural weight, properties where the building itself is part of the experience, not just a container for it. Gran Hotel Inglés has been on our list for a long time. It came up consistently in conversations with serious travelers who know Madrid well. The more we looked into it, the more obvious it became that this is one of the most underreported luxury properties in Southern Europe. Today, we are giving it the coverage it deserves. Here is the plan. We start with the history, because the history of this building is genuinely remarkable, and it changes how you see everything else. Then we go inside and cover the restoration and design in detail. After that, we talk about the neighborhood and why the location is so specifically right for this kind of hotel. Then the full guest experience, and at the very end, I'm going to share the one thing about Gran Hotel Inglés that I think makes it genuinely irreplaceable in a way that no other hotel in Madrid can claim. Stay for that last part. It puts everything in context. Let us start at the beginning, because the beginning of Gran Hotel Inglés is the beginning of modern Madrid hospitality. The hotel opened in 1853. To put that in context, this was before the telephone existed, before the automobile, before electric light. Madrid in 1853 was a city in the middle of a dramatic transformation, pulling itself into the modern era with the energy and ambition that has always characterized it. And into that moment, Gran Hotel Inglés opened its doors as the first grand hotel the city had ever seen. It was immediately the address, the place where visiting dignitaries stayed, where the cultural and intellectual elite of Spain gathered. The guest list over the following decades reads like a survey of Spanish and European history. Alfonso XIII, King of Spain, was a guest. Virginia Woolf stayed here. Ernest Hemingway, who spent significant time in Madrid and wrote about it with the kind of precision that only comes from genuine love, knew this hotel well. Nobel laureates, artists, politicians, writers who were shaping the literary culture of a continent. The Barrio de las Letras, the neighborhood surrounding the hotel, takes its name from the writers and thinkers who lived and worked there across the centuries: Cervantes, Lope de Vega, Quevedo. The streets around Gran Hotel Inglés are literally named after the giants of Spanish literature. The hotel did not just exist in this neighborhood. It was part of the cultural conversation that made the neighborhood what it was. Then, as hotels do when ownership changes and decades pass, it went through a long period of decline. The building remained, the address remained, but the standard fell away until the property was eventually closed and a decision had to be made about what came next. What came next was one of the finest hotel restorations in recent Spanish history, and we are going to talk about that right now. The restoration of Gran Hotel Inglés took years. It was not a renovation in the standard hotel industry sense, stripping out the old and replacing it with something contemporary. It was a genuine archaeological and architectural project, a commitment to understanding what the building originally was and then bringing it back to life at a standard that honors that original vision while making it fully functional as a 21st century luxury hotel. The facade was restored to its original appearance. The grand staircase, one of the most beautiful interior architectural features in any Madrid hotel, was brought back. The ornate ceiling details, the ironwork, the proportions of the public spaces, all of it treated with the care and precision that a building of this significance deserves. The interior design that sits within this restored shell is the work of Lázaro Rosa Violan, one of the most celebrated and prolific hospitality designers in Spain. His approach was to create something that is in genuine dialogue with the history of the building, rather than in competition with it. The result is an interior that feels both historically rooted and completely alive. Rich materials throughout, dark woods, polished brass, deep leather, tiles with patterns that reference Moorish and Spanish decorative traditions, libraries and reading areas that feel like they belong to a private club of considerable taste and vintage, artwork selected to reflect the literary and cultural identity of the neighborhood, every room different in its details while completely coherent as part of a single strong vision. The 48 rooms and suites are generous by the standards of central Madrid, where historic buildings often impose constraints that newer hotels do not have to navigate. Each one has been designed to feel like a room that someone of taste actually lives in. Real books, proper desks, bathrooms with genuine depth and quality, beds that communicate immediately that someone spent serious time thinking about how sleep should feel. This is a hotel that wears its restoration proudly without ever making the history feel like a museum exhibit. It feels inhabited, warm, as though the building has been waiting to be this good again for a long time and is quietly relieved to have finally arrived. The Barrio de las Letras is one of those neighborhoods that the people who know it guard with a particular possessiveness, not aggressively, but with the quiet satisfaction of knowing they have found something that the main tourist circuit consistently overlooks. It sits between the Paseo del Prado, with the Prado Museum, the Thyssen, and the Reina Sofia, forming one of the greatest concentrations of art in the world, and the buzzing anarchic energy of Lavapiés to the south. The streets are narrow and cobbled. The buildings are low enough that the sky feels wide. There are independent bookshops, small theaters, tapas bars that have been in the same family for 3 generations, and the kind of slow afternoon energy that makes you feel like Madrid is giving you permission to stop moving for a while. From Gran Hotel Inglés, you can walk to the Prado in 15 minutes, the Reina Sofia, home to Picasso's Guernica, in 20, the Plaza Mayor in 10, the Retiro Park in 25. You are at the absolute center of the cultural geography of Madrid while being on a street that feels nothing like a tourist artery. That combination, historical depth, cultural access, neighborhood character, and genuine calm, is exactly what the best urban luxury hotels deliver, and it is increasingly rare to find it in a single address. I want to stop here and ask you something, because I think this is a real question worth discussing. When you choose a hotel in a city with as much history as Madrid, does the age of the building matter to you? Does staying somewhere that has genuinely witnessed a century and a half of history change the experience? Or is a beautiful new build equally compelling? Leave your answer in the comments, because I think the way people answer that question says something real about how they travel, and I want to hear where this community stands. Here is what I promised you. The thing that makes Gran Hotel Inglés irreplaceable in a way that goes beyond design and history and location. Madrid has excellent hotels. Several of them are genuinely world-class. New builds with rooftop pools and contemporary art collections in every modern amenity executed at the highest level. If you want that, if that is the kind of luxury experience you are looking for, Madrid can absolutely deliver it. But Gran Hotel Inglés is offering something that those hotels cannot offer, and it is not just the age of the building or the names in the guest book. It is continuity. When you stay at Gran Hotel Inglés, you are staying in a building that has been part of Madrid's cultural conversation for over 170 years. The city has changed around it. Governments have come and gone. Wars have been fought. Whole ways of life have disappeared, and this building has remained, has witnessed, has absorbed. There is something that happens to a person, not dramatically, not consciously, when they spend time in a space with that kind of depth. The city feels different. The history feels accessible rather than abstract. You are not reading about Madrid in a museum. You are sleeping in a room where people who shaped the culture of a nation once slept, walking down a staircase that kings once walked down, sitting in a bar that was a meeting point for the intellectual life of a city at its most vital and creative. That is not atmosphere as design feature. That is history as lived experience. And in a world where most luxury hotels are built from scratch and aged artificially, where the patina is applied rather than earned, the real thing is genuinely extraordinary. Gran Hotel Inglés has the real thing, every centimeter of it. Let's bring it all together. Gran Hotel Inglés is the oldest hotel in Madrid, located on Calle Echegaray in the Barrio de las Letras, the literary quarter, in the heart of the city. It opened in 1853 and has hosted kings, Nobel laureates, and some of the most significant cultural figures in European history. After a meticulous restoration led by designer Lázaro Rosa Violan, it reopened as a 48-room luxury hotel that honors its original grandeur while operating at a genuinely contemporary standard. The location puts you at the center of Madrid's cultural geography, walking distance from 3 of the world's great art museums. And the experience of staying there connects you to 170 years of Spanish history in a way that no new build can replicate or approximate. Remember, the oldest hotel in Madrid, a landmark restoration, the literary quarter, and genuine historical continuity that you can feel in every room. If this is the kind of hotel story you want more of, the ones with real history, real depth, real character, subscribe right now. Every week, we find another one. Properties that most travelers walk straight past. Stories that deserve to be told. Hit subscribe, and you will never miss one. And drop a comment. Would you stay at Gran Hotel Inglés? Does the history make it more compelling to you, or less? Tell me below. I read every single one. That is Gran Hotel Inglés, over 170 years old. Better than it has ever been. And still, somehow, one of the best-kept secrets in European luxury travel. In the next video, we are heading somewhere that could not feel more different from central Madrid, a hotel carved into the cliffs above the Amalfi Coast in Italy, where the only way to reach your room is by a private lift cut directly into the rock face, and the view from your terrace is the Tyrrhenian Sea stretching out to the horizon. That one is going to be hard to follow. Until then, find the old buildings. Read the plaques on the walls. The best hotels are the ones that were already something extraordinary before they became hotels.